can run, we can hide behind the wall of lies. Truth will find us. We can hide in the night, but in the morning light, truth will find us.
This is Evan Ginzburg, associate producer of The Wrestler and 350 Days, starring Bret Hart and superstar Billy Graham. Later in the show, we're going to speak wrestling with Max Vitelli and Fire Angels, women wrestlers, in studio. We're going to have poetry later with John Winnell. But right now, we have singer, songwriter, Ethelfum. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Ethelfum.
Do it again.
Ethelfum.
You did it better than I did.
Ethafulm.
Okay, and that has a certain mystique to it. Where'd you get the name from?
You know, I was thinking of a name. I wanted to think of a name that was just unique and represented it only itself, and that's what I came to. I was like, there isn't a fulm in any word I know of in any language, so I was like, I just took it and.
So you're like Prince. Prince had a symbol. You have words.
I'll take it.
You're creating your own language. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. And you have a new single coming out, Something Real. And
correct.
Tell us a little about that.
It's coming out September 26th. It's the first song that I've created a music video for. It's I guess gives people an idea of what my album's gonna sound like in terms of production quality, because it's the best produced material I've released to date. The music video I actually made totally DIY. I actually tied my phone to a tripod with a shoelace.
Wow.
And just got a bunch of shots with that. And to create the motion, I used a Ken Burns effect on iMovie. Yeah, so I actually watched a lot of tutorials on iMovie just so I could make this as good as possible, and I'm pretty satisfied with the results. People could view the trailer online, a 30-second trailer online of the music video. Yeah, it's
And where can they see that?
They can find it on my Instagram page. You could look up Ethelfulm.
Spell it.
Ethafulm on Instagram, YouTube. I have it on my Facebook page. I don't have an official website yet. Costs a little money, I guess, to do that. So I'll probably wait till I get a little more money to start doing that.
So as a young artist, not only do you have to be musically talented and unique, you have to have filmmaking skills and promotional skills. Give folk an idea of what's involved in getting your music out there to a wider audience. It's not easy.
Yeah, definitely not. Although I have noticed that music videos tend to be just like that one thing that kind of gets them their spark. The one thing that kind of is the seed that starts the growth that is their public recognition.
Okay.
You know.
So technically, you're a director of the music video.
Yeah.
And producer and star and
yeah.
I mean, it really is impressive being multi-talented. And again, I go back to Prince and musical geniuses who did it all. Really did it all.
Yeah, I know Prince produced his own music and just had and you save a lot of money doing that way too, and he obviously has excellent production quality as well in his music, so that's all cool.
So who are some of the artists that have influenced you?
I definitely am influenced by U2, just because like they're mad good. It's like their music's very ambient. It uses there's a music technique called pedal tones, where basically you create a center of gravity with the music based on the notes that the musical pattern tends to revolve around, and they always have a strong sense of where that center of gravity is in their music.
Interesting.
And I think that's something that I've definitely derived from them.
And as a live performer, who are some of the people that have influenced you? When you get on a stage, who do you think of as great performers?
Actually, one of the heavy bands that I've been influenced by, Dirt Grey. They're a Japanese rock band, and I think they have a great stage presence. They're just very theatric and captivating.
So this is exactly what I'm saying. The fact that a New Yorker is turned on to a Japanese band is because of the media and building that presence and getting the word out. I mean, Japan's the other side of the world, and it's a different culture.
What's amazing is that that band doesn't have a huge fan base, but a very loyal fan base.
Yeah.
So much that MTV Headbangers Ball, back when it was actually on MTV, I don't even know if they actually have a segment on there anymore, but they won #1 video 2 years in a row, just because like their fans who they did have were definitely voting, probably more than once. So
okay. And in 2018, how important is MTV? Because they seem to be going more towards reality shows and non-musical.
Honestly, I don't even know how important they are, but like I guess that also communicates that they're not really putting themselves out there as something that is musically important anymore, which is sad.
Yeah. When I was your age, I sound like I'm 100. When I was your age, guys like Michael Jackson and Prince just exploded because of MTV, because of music videos. And so in this new era, how important is a music video? We're talking about your new video coming out.
Yeah. Maybe not as important, but I notice because of social media, people just like to watch music videos. I actually, I myself get excited when a band I like puts out a music video, because even Dirt Grey, like that band that I was talking about, they have a great stage presence. They also have really creative and cool music videos. Like, they were showing one recently that everyone was like a circus performer in it, and it was just so cool. I don't even know what the song's about yet. I'll have to see why they decided to go with that look.
Interesting. What I notice is you'll have a band who just explodes on the scene sometimes, and many times they have a major record label behind them. But however, sometimes the video or the music or the image is just so unique that people have to notice.
Yeah, I myself, and it's not even that I'm trying to get attention, it's just that I'm so, I just love aesthetics. Like, I love making myself look cool, I've always been into that, even as a kid. Like, I would spike my hair every day when I was, like, 9 to 13, just because like that was the look I liked at the time.
Well, guys like Bowie, it certainly helped to be chic and stylish and have a unique look. Talking Heads, I mean, going back to the MTV days,
Yeah, and like I pluck my eyebrows, I work out, I just love looking.
That's an
good.
interesting combination. I pluck my eyebrows and work out. What do you think, Jim?
You know what? I don't care if people think I'm masculine or if they think I'm feminine. As long as I like what I see in the mirror, I'm happy.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because guys like Bowie and Prince had the whole androgynous thing going, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Again, it comes back to mystique and image, and they had the talent to back it up.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just, he looks different, he looks unique. I mean, they had unbelievable talent.
I think when you're an artist, sometimes you just kind of by nature have the whole package. Like, I find that a lot of times classical musicians who are revered as the best have something called synesthesia, where they have a color association with certain notes in music. I have that myself. Like, for example, I hear there's two notes in let's say the major scale that are opposite distance apart, and I hear one as green and then one as red in music, and I think that validates that I have a type of synesthesia that is parallel with the laws of color to the laws of music.
Interesting.
Because green and red are opposite colors in the spectrum.
So you have a unique perspective.
Yeah, so I feel like there's and actually I call aesthetics that go hand in hand with a certain type of music cultural synesthesia. And I don't think anyone calls it that, but that's what I call it.
Okay, so your homework is to trademark that Monday morning and use that to market what you're doing. Seriously.
Who knows? Maybe I will. We'll see. I got my music copyrighted though. That's good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna throw a tough question at you. So let's say it's next Saturday night, and you say, I want to go out Saturday night. Which bands or which artists would you pay to see?
I'd pay to see... I don't know if I could afford to see U2.
U2?
I love them.
Right.
But I don't know. Let's see. I'd see Duran Gray, of course. I'd see this artist, Forever in Motion. That's one word. He's just awesome. He's basically... definitely one of the most underrated artists I know of. Again, that's Forever in Motion, one word. He's like...
Independent artist?
Yeah, I guess he falls into the indie folk genre a little bit, and he's one of two indie folk artists I like. Him along with the tallest man on earth. And...
I was at a wrestling show yesterday. I saw some of the fattest men on earth.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different story. We'll talk about wrestling later.
Oh, man, that's funny.
And what do you have coming up? Any gigs you like to plug?
I'm actually going on another show like this the 16th, next Sunday. That's called the Halftime Howie Show. And you can get these details if you follow me online. Again,
Halftime Howie?
Halftime Howie, yep. The Halftime Howie Show.
That's catchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to be the 16th again.
You see, now speaking of marketing, I would assume that's a sports show by that title. That's misleading.
Right? Maybe a little bit, but I guess like at the same time you associate halftime with like the halftime show, which is musical.
But that's a jump, you know.
Yeah.
This Jim, if somebody said to you Halftime Howie, would you assume it's a sports show?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sure it's a good show. I'm not being critical. I'm just
hey,
making
you know what,
an
if I'm on
observation.
it better be a good show.
Yeah, I'm just being objective. Anyway, we're gonna hear a musical set in just a few, but plug anything you want to plug.
Again, my music project is called Ethafulm, or Athafulm. I'm trying to pronounce it as Athafulm now because I think it sounds cooler. But it's ETHAFULM.
That's interesting marketing. You can pronounce the name different ways.
Yeah.
I like that.
Actually, Duran Gray is often pronounced Dear on Gray by some people.
Wow.
I think that's actually the way they want you to say it, but I'm just like Duran Gray because that's how I've been saying it my whole life.
Okay. Okay. And what are we going to hear later?
You're going to hear, my song Late Bloomer, which isn't even going to be on my first album. I actually wrote it after I wrote the songs for my album. You're going to hear my song Something Real, and then my song Silent, which is one of my abstract songs, and it's always going to be hard to play. I'm always going to make a mistake when I play it, even 5 years from now, just because it's basically like a classical song, but just in the style of, I guess, an alternative artist, you know?
And a question just popped in my head. When you say late bloomer, the music industry, there's a lot of ageism, where I once pitched, it's a true story, a 16-year-old artist to a major label, very talented, singer, songwriter, guitarist, tremendous artist. They said, we're looking for a 13-year-old, like Justin Bieber, to mold. And I'm like, come on,
I noticed
16 is old.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy. I read a book on the music industry, and one thing they give you a heads up about is the ageism. And, like, that's really superficial. Like,
it's ridiculous.
And in a way, honestly, it's almost like consumer directed, too, not just, by the producers and stuff.
It's ridiculous.
It's
I mean, you're still young, and, you have the advantage of youth, but I would sit... I used to do a show on a 50,000 watt station. I would have artists come on, and they're in their 20s. Don't tell my age. Don't tell my age. I'm like, that's insane.
I'm 27. I'm not ashamed to admit that. You know what? I mean, I look better than I did, when I was younger. Like, I can't complain at all, you know.
Well, the thing today is,
and I'm more talented.
Absolutely. The thing today is, you do not need a record label. You could be totally independent, market yourself, take 100% instead of a minuscule, cut of your music, and build your own career and have total creative control, and where age wouldn't matter whatsoever. It's when you get into the quote unquote system where the labels are, we want you to dress this way. We don't want you to say that. We don't like this music's too out there. We want it more commercial. Then you're kind of a slave to the system. So the positive side of that is, you're free. You could do what you want.
Money wants an opinion, and sometimes it's not always a good one,
Yeah.
But let's see. I'm actually going through something called an admin publisher for the release of my next single, CD Baby. They're a music store, an online music store. They've turned more towards becoming an admin publisher of music, which is basically kind of like a new thing for up-and-coming artists. It gets them, they basically collect royalties for you and stuff, or at least the publishing royalties, through PROs. I forget what PRO stands for, like the BMI and ASCAP, which are 2 of 3 performer rights organizations that collect royalties on the behalf of artists and give blanket licenses, so these things can be played on radio. Yeah, this is all stuff I learned from reading a music industry book. I'd be like totally clueless if not for that.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and what I would advise any musician or anybody in the entertainment business is, it's the music business, it's the entertainment business, it's the radio business. And learn the business so you don't get exploited.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was reading that, Not only that, it's because it really allows you to, collect what you're owed. And that also allows you to, invest more. Once you're getting more, you have more to invest, So
here's the thing.
It's nothing but a win.
You had bands that sold 10 million records and went bankrupt. You could sell 10,000 records and make money if you learn the business.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing today. It's a different world, and it's understood that the money really today is not only in the music but in the merchandising.
Yeah.
If you get your fan base, you build the T-shirts and everything else. That's where the money comes in. Yeah,
merchandising isn't something I really scratched the surface of yet, but it's an exciting
Here's
idea,
what you do. Next time Fishbone, Fishbone?
Nah.
Unbelievable band. Or George Clinton come to town, check out their merchandising.
Okay.
They have everything from comic books to keychains to multiple T-shirts to DVDs, CDs, live performance, DVDs. I mean, it's like a moving store that goes from city to city to city. And these guys are really independent artists at this point, and that's where a big amount of their income is coming from, not just the music but from the merchandising.
Yeah. I know Kiss has crazy merchandise,
Kiss were one of the innovators of that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's cool.
They almost went too far in that direction because it almost got like greedy. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to look like that as a music artist. You want to make sure it's always about the music.
Exactly. You don't want to lose the music in the merchandising. So it's always like a tightrope. But we're gonna hear your music in just a few.
Yeah.
And, plug your social media one more time.
Again, guys, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. The project is called Ethafulm. It's spelled ETHAFULM. Again, ETHAFULM.
Okay, and we're gonna have a live set in just a few. So this is the eclectic mix known as the Evan Ginzburg Show at VillageConnectionRadio.com. Jim Savali at the helm, and we'll be right back with a live in-studio music set. Don't you dare go anywhere. Okay, let me see how
so dead. The lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind clear. Oh, I shed all of my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here while you moved on. Security, this newfound freedom you kept from me. The sound of all your loaded guns. This heartbreak war has just begun. The sound of all your loaded guns. This broken man has already won. Oh, my mind clear. Oh, I shed all of my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here while you moved on.
We are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at VillageConnectionRadio.com, live in studio, Athafum.
All right, this song is called Late Bloomer. It's not called Late Bloomer because I have some type of arrested development, like some of my haters might want to think. Like, oh, look at this 27-year-old scene kid. Like, get out of here. It's actually called Late Bloomer because it's symbolic of a flower that's blooming in the winter, you know, way too late. Kind of like the love that I was writing the song about. You know, it came too late. You know, you love somebody after, you know, they like you, or you love somebody, you know, after you had the chance, you know. So that's what the song is about.
Even though I seem too patient, did we find it hard to wait to feel the same? I know it finally blooms, just to find it was too late. My rose in vain. If you return
To be
held asleep in the blanket of frost until you return. Be as eternal as life. Your peace in question with the season. You are the answer. But will we hear rounds of applause here as this curtain burns? Some wanted the act, but some want the truth. I'll sleep in the blanket of frost until you return. It can be as eternal as life. Regret or peace in question with the season. Will I even see as the sun rises? The question echoes in my inner vacance. In the winter seemed too patient. Did we find it hard to wait to feel the same? I know it finally blooms, just to find it was too late. My rose in vain, my rose in vain. Ah, 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 ah. Will we hear rounds of applause here as this curtain burns? Some wanted the show to go on, but I wanted you. The late bloomer opens like shards of heaven's radiance in my heart. I promise this. Thank you. All right. This next song is the acoustic version of the song I'm releasing on the 26th. It's called Something Real. The people gathered to hear the children sing another song promoting hedonism, and they clapped to the sounds of society's morality fading away. They believe since they believe heaven is guaranteed. All of these mistranslations contribute to the death in the nations. If only their pineal glands weren't calcified by the brain damaging poison in the water supply, then maybe they'd get what's happening. The people gathered to hear their leader's speech. Another lie to justify a war crime. And they clapped to the sounds of society's morality fading away. I watched the Notebook movie with my girlfriend at the time. It was a scene. She cheats on her fiance with her past lover, and I cried to the sound of the melody, romanticizing their immorality. Sing it loud, sing it louder. The music seemed to fool me about her. Somebody sing to me. The music of this world is diseased. I'm deleting all the songs of all the bands of whose music has been dead since the fall of man. And I want to hear something real. So let them sing this song for the next school concert. So let them sing to interrupt excuses for war crimes. So let them sing this song for the next school concert. So let them sing to interrupt excuses for war crimes.
Thank you. I got one last song for you guys. This is actually the most recent song I recorded for my album, which is gonna have 10 songs. And this is song 4 that I've had recorded professionally. It's called Silent. I can't imagine what anyone would talk about in a perfect world. Just like I can't imagine colors that don't exist. I've tried to speak as if this is a perfect world, but everything is wrong. I feel like I should be silent now. I've admired for reasons that should not
I silence myself to break the wind that breaks hearts. I've tried to speak pure, but I found evil in everything. It seems like nothing is okay. Maybe that's true. Maybe my senses tell of only evil, so it's all that I think. I've admired for reasons I should not matter, for the world to see a sight that makes me jealous. I silence myself to break the wind that breaks hearts. I've tried to speak pure, but I found evil in everything. Lock the wickedness inside of me to die with my body someday. Is a perfect world silent, or is it just too far away to be heard? It's like I'm trying to imagine colors that don't even exist. It seems like everything is entirely meaningless. Maybe that's false. After all, here I make noise. Thank you.
All right. Aethel Foam, new release, Something Real, coming soon. Thank you so much for appearing on the show.
26th.
The 26th. And when we come back, we're going to have wrestling with Max Vitelli and the Fire Angels and poetry with John Winnell. So don't you dare go anywhere. This is the Eclectic Mix, known as the Evan Ginzburg Show at villageconnectionradio.com. There you go. All right.
weight bound on the ride to Dover. Guns, colognes, and porn all over the streets were replete with signs of the times, designed by the violence, the money-hungry minded said, I'm wondering how this could possibly be. Firefly, follow me right down the street. Free love, soul flow is the prime goal. Emancipate your mind, baby, watch the show. Where you laugh at our dreams. Lonely night as I lay and I sleep. If it's all in my head, why am I standing right here? Where you laugh at our dreams.
All right, we are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at VillageConnectionRadio.com with Max Vitelli and the Fire Angels. Introduce your crew, Max.
Hey, everybody. This is Max Vitelli with the Phoenix Wrestling Federation, and my crew today consists of, to my left, we have the lovely Magenta, and we also have the lovely Miss Gemma Stone, and together they are Team Turbo. And to my far left, we have the darkest, most evilest, most despicable team out there. These are the Goddesses of Destruction, G.O.D. That is Zara in the red hair, and that is Miss Mickey Manic.
Mickey Manic. You look very unhappy. You all right?
I'm good.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. So, Max, update us. Tell us what's been happening with your crew.
Oh, let's see. I mean, I think since the last time we spoke, we're in a different studio. We're at a different location. And now by the way, I love the new place, by the way. This looks absolutely awesome. It really does.
I designed it.
You did? Really?
No, Jim did.
Oh, Jim designed.
Yes.
Okay. Way to go, Jim. Okay. We did a completely revamp of our company. We did a completely rebranding of the ladies as well, too. A lot of the girls that we had last time, basically, they weren't weren't really up to the whole commitment thing. But I actually consider myself blessed,
How
and
many
I
times have
lucked
you
out.
been married?
How many times? What?
How many times have you been married?
That question is not up for discussion right now. No, okay.
The commitment thing.
The commitment thing,
All right.
yes. I mean, I've been married, but the thing is like marriage is an institution. I just chose not to live in one. That's basically
Marriage
it.
is the death of hope. That's Woody Allen.
Marriage is what's left of a sweetheart after the nerve has been killed, but that's another story. Why would you bring
Was
that
that
up?
good, huh?
It was 16 years that I will never get back, but I have a beautiful son for it, so that's so great. But anyway, the level of commitment was not there, so I consider myself very blessed right now to be surrounded by such wonderful, fantastic, beautiful, fierce, competitive talent. And that's why
Those are a lot of adjectives.
It was a lot of adjectives, yeah, and that's why we completely rebranded it, and we wanted to give it a more a name that would pop more. We wanted to give it something that was really on fire. So the men's division was the Firebirds, and these are the Fire Angels. So this is where we're going with that, which is it's a lot less, I would say, sexist than the other name that we were giving the girls last time, the Thunder Kittens. That was just too.
Okay.
We were just getting we were getting a lot of negative. We were getting a lot of negative feedback. A lot of people were sending me emojis of little kittens with lightning coming out of their paws. So it's like
Right.
that was it. I actually got those. Yeah. So this is why we completely rebranded everything.
Wow. So what do you have coming up?
Well, I got to say one thing. I've seen all of these girls train, and a lot of them are like I said, are really like hungry for this. So, come October, we are going to have our first live taping. It's going to be our first iPay-per-view on October 28th. It's going to be at the Bronx Wrestling Federation, our little rumble in the Bronx of our own.
I love the Bronx
I love
Federation.
Yes,
Bronco. I've been in ring there.
Bronco is something, man.
I tell Bronco, I'm not no lucha.
No lucha, no. Yeah, no.
I come in as a kind of like an entourage kind of thing, with Simply Splendid Bobby C.
Okay, great. Well, we'd love to have you there as an entourage. I mean, we're gonna have
I can be part of the male entourage.
Sure, if you'd like, no problem. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of media there. We're gonna have our own new camera crew there. We've got a fantastic production and camera crew that's going to be covering the whole thing for us. I've even got my own apprentice who's his own up and coming producer. But we're also going to have a former NXT star, Miss Zeta Zhang, is going to be performing for us on October 28th, and she's going to be in a main event match with La Sicaria, Miss Evelise Velez.
Wow.
Yes, and those are two former WWE people right there. The ladies are going to be training very hard, and a lot of them just might be ready for an October 28th match. So we're just going to see how hard and how bad they want it.
Great. And ladies, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little about yourself?
All right,
That would be you. That's
full name and where I'm from.
Yeah,
and
sure.
things.
Sure.
Some background,
All right.
some.
All right. Well, my name is Carly, and I'm from Mississippi, and I just moved down here about a year ago, and I'm so excited that there are so many opportunities like that. I can do this and get with some people, and learn some real wrestling moves. It's really awesome, and the team has been so awesome.
And when you call your family in Mississippi and you say, I'm a woman wrestler, how do they react?
Oh my goodness, people are like, what? How do you get into these different things? And I'm like, well, man, I grew up pretending to be China and the Undertaker with my cousins. We had the little action figures and everything. And so this is this is a dream come true. This is so much fun to just, I just wanted to bounce from the ropes. That just looked fun to me. So I'm excited to
She actually
learn
did
to do body slams and stuff like that.
She actually did bounce from the rope. She did. I saw that. It was pretty amazing.
Fun.
Now,
it's the most simple.
Now the issue is with pro wrestling, they're going to be bouncing you around, and inevitably there's pain, there's injury.
Oh yeah, I know. I was about to say last week I didn't have my elbow pads yet, and I got pretty bruised up. So yeah, it's definitely work more than bouncing around. It's a lot of coordination.
It's a tough
I love
business.
it. Yeah, getting to know stunt work.
So China was an influence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. China, Luna, they were as tough as the guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sherry Martel.
Sherry Martel.
Yeah.
about to say, I think that was before the Divas, right?
Oh yeah.
'Cause
Way
I don't
before.
remember that when I was little, you know. But
Sherry Martel was started in the 80s.
That's right.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
did, along with Velvet McIntyre too. Remember her?
Sherry was sure.
Sherry was
Sherry
awesome.
was
though.
amazing.
Yes, she was.
And
I cried when she passed away.
I once interviewed Sherry Martel 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning on radio, and she said to me, I was on the road for 16 years. I didn't see my kids grow up. And I'll never forget it because, you know, and she got very emotional. So are you ladies ready for the sacrifice of being a wrestler, being on the road, you know? And I've had wrestlers tell me I am always in pain. Always in pain. I mean, you know.
Are they men?
Men and women. Yeah.
No, I mean, are they real men? Is what Zara meant. That's what. But you
I
want to
just meant,
talk.
Are they men?
But wait a second though. You want to talk about commitment though. Right over here, this little fire over here. Okay, Gemma Stone. You have to hear the level of commitment she's got. You know, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody where you come from? Come on.
So I'm Gemma Stone. I live in Pennsylvania. I drive to the Bronx to train with my fellow wrestlers. So woot woot to all you guys. I'm very excited to be a part of this team. Thank you, Max, for giving me this opportunity. But what I can say is you haven't seen anything yet, and the best is about to come.
See, what you're doing is very old school. You're getting in a car. You're driving 2.5, 3 hours with traffic more.
Right.
You know, to take bumps, to
Right.
learn your craft.
You know,
and much respect.
Right. You know, this is something that I've always wanted to do. Like, it's in the arena of, like, stunt work, and it seems it's all it's going to do is benefit me in the future. But I have had bruises in places that I thought I could never bruise.
Now, what are your goals down the road? Because with the what you just said, with the human body, at some point it wears out. You know, whether it's boxing, wrestling, MMA. Where do you want to take all of this?
Let me tell you about my human body. I've already had 4 foot surgeries.
Wow.
Prior
From
to
wrestling?
this? No, prior to this.
Oh, wow.
Just because I needed them done. And I ruptured my Achilles doing gymnastics.
Wow.
So I think I can handle it.
Okay.
Once it's fixed, it's 90% chance that it won't break again.
Okay. Okay. So you're kind of bionic.
That's right.
Okay. And goddesses of destruction? Okay. Introduce yourselves. Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm Zara.
Mickey Manic.
And tell us a little background, a little...
Well,
Careful
I'll
with
have to
those
say
sweaters.
one thing. We live for sacrifice and pain. You're talking about sacrifice and pain. That's what we're all about.
Okay.
Trying to get some of these souls to the dark side.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
And just in case you're wondering, we will crush you. That's a promise.
I'd like to see you bring it. I already told you I'm bionic.
Actions speak louder than words.
I already got you both down in the ring.
Okay, moving right along, please.
I'm beginning to understand this. Face heel.
Face
okay.
heel.
Okay. There we go. Wow.
I couldn't have asked for a better team this time around. I really couldn't have. And I think this time I've got the right formula this time. Yes, we've had some talent in the past, but, you know, as I said before, I have never seen a more dedicated bunch than I have right now. And these girls are actually showing up for practice. I mean, some of them are even getting upset that they have to leave earlier because the head trainer had to leave. I mean, literally, Gemma actually got almost into an altercation with the school because, like, I drove for 2.5 hours. I only trained for like this long. Why can't they say? I want to do more. I've never seen
So who's
anything.
actually training you?
Bronco. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a sub trainer too. His name's Bradley. He's amazing.
Brother Greatness is training
he's
us.
done my show.
Yes.
Nice guy.
He knows Brother Greatness.
He's really great.
Yeah. Evan is very into the wrestling world as well too.
I was
so
associate producer on The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
that's correct.
Oh, were you?
That's right. Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Oh, thank you.
Are you? Do you have anything to do with Glow too?
No.
No.
No. But that's a great show.
It is. It's a pretty good show.
Awesome show. And what's funny with Glow is I like the current show better than the actual original wrestling show because it's very moving. It's you care about the characters. Everybody watches Glow. You care about the characters, and you know.
You felt bad for Zoya, right, when she got her ankle broken.
Yeah, great. So, Max, how far do you want to take this? You have an internet pay-per-view that's going.
Yes,
to the next
as a matter
level?
of fact, we are at the next level because here's the thing. I am going to revamp the indie wrestling business. That's what I'm going to do. And
how are you going to do that?
And I got to tell you this right now. A lot of independent promotions are going to be very pissed at me of what I'm doing right now because here's the thing. The Phoenix Wrestling Federation is not all about ticket sales. It's not about hiring workers at $10, $20 a pop and having them put their bodies on the line for like minuscule pay. The Phoenix Wrestling Federation is about building a brand. It's about building an alliance. It's about building that brand that's going to stand out. That's going to go rank higher than ROH. That's going to rank higher than CZW or any of the local independent promotions that are out there right now. Because we are on one of the largest, newest streaming networks that brings a national and international presence called the ViewMe Network. Okay, it's a new streaming company that signed us on board.
VIEWME?
No, it's VU with two little dots on the U. .me. ViewMe.
Glad
okay,
I asked.
there you go. It's called ViewMe. That's all you have to remember. It's called ViewMe and view.me. And it's going to be it's going to be launching this month, this September. And we are going to be having our first iPay-per-view on that, and it's going to give us a national presence. And another thing
You're wrong. International presence.
And international presence, yes.
Yeah.
And another beautiful thing about this is we are the first independent wrestling promotion that not only pays our performers better, but we are offering each and every one of them a revenue share program every month after month after month. So every performer will have their own channel, every performer will have their own following, and for every click, for every view, for every time they get shared, they are going to get paid month after month after month after month from the ViewMe network. No other independent promotion has done that anywhere. Have you've been in this business a while? Have you ever heard of an independent wrestling organization doing something like this?
Generally, I hear about independent wrestling promotions going out of business, so I'm impressed by this.
Thank you very much. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to shock everybody. We want to do something that's absolutely outside of the box. Because to tell you the truth, I see some of these up and coming kids. They're pretty cool. They're pretty good, and they're only getting $20 a show, $40 a show, or whatever. They're getting minuscule money, and they're putting their bodies on the line and damaging themselves for what? For a $20 pay? No, it has to stop. These men are talented. These women are talented. And they need to get paid what they deserve.
I love interviewing Max because I don't have to do anything. I just sit back and listen.
See, I told you. I told you that was what he's going to say.
So, we have today Pro Wrestling Tees. We have today like Bullet Club merchandise, etc., so on. What about merchandising for all of you?
Absolutely. We already have some T-shirts that we're printing up. It's like Fire Angels, and in the back it says, "Don't call us divas," because they are far from divas. So we don't call them divas. We're going to be having our Goddesses of Destruction T-shirts coming out. We're going to have our Gemma Stones. We're going to definitely have our Magenta T-shirts. And I actually spoke to somebody last night.
And they get a cut of all of that, I assume.
Yes, of course they'll get a cut of all that. They'll keep 100% of every T-shirt that they sell. I don't need the T-shirt money. I don't care about that. Okay.
Well,
really?
You heard it.
I heard it. I said it right.
You have to keep them to that.
We got to get a contract out.
Yeah, exactly. But on top of everything else, not only I also spoke to somebody a couple of nights ago. They're going to hook us up with somebody who's going to make us action figures. So there'll be a Max Vitelli action figure, there'll be a Gemma Stone action figure, a Magenta action figure. So this is what we're going to be doing.
So basically, you're going to go back to almost like the 80s Glow scenario where each wrestler is marketed, each one has their own persona and their own marketing, merchandise. I think it's a great idea.
Well, like I said before, it really adds value to the promotion when you have the workers who actually want to work for your organization. It's like word's going to get around, and all the other independent wrestlers that didn't want to work with me before, who couldn't stand me before, they're going to find out, hey, did you know that Max's performers, they get monthly salaries now? They get medical insurance now? They get medical
insurance.
That's
really?
going to be
Vince
down
McMahon doesn't do that.
That's going to be down the road. We're going to be offering
Really?
medical down the road, okay? And all those guys, all those girls are going to hear about this, and they're going to be lining up our door. And then I'm going to have these 4 come to that door and slam it right in their face.
They're going to need it once the bodies hit the floor.
Wow. Wow.
Those 2 scare me a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so, Max, how are you going to put all of this into place? I mean, this is you're going down to medical insurance, which WWE has never done. They're a $1 billion corporation. What's the game plan? I mean, this is a lot.
Thank you, Obama, for no pre-existing conditions.
Yes, thank you, Obama, for no, but and thank you, Trump, for still being in office. Not, but anyway.
You heard the not part.
Not.
I did.
Not. Well, are you a Republican? Get out.
It's a whole different show.
Get out, girls. Get them. That's a whole different show.
How can you be in this industry and be a Republican?
There you go. Ooh. See, I love these guys. I love these girls. I really do. This is a process. Obviously, not all this stuff is going to happen overnight. Okay, with success and with time, it even builds success. All right, we're looking to get a following first. We have to have the following before we can go forward with this. With ViewMe, we get to keep 100% of our pay-per-view money. Okay, and with that, I'm also gonna take a percentage of the pay-per-view money and give it to the workers who are on the pay-per-view as well. But down the road, once we start getting 10,000 views, 100,000 views, 200,000 views, with the talent alone in this room, we have over 200,000 views. Okay, with the talent alone.
I think the goddesses of destruction will agree that there's a lot of dateless wonders in the wrestling community. They're gonna love all of you. They're gonna love all of you. Yeah.
If you call them wonders.
Okay. Okay.
I wasn't expecting her to do that, but that's good. Because like I said, I didn't have this before. Now, I mean, obviously, we didn't have anybody. I didn't have anybody before that was so animated before, and I thought I would be like the only animated person out there. But I actually found a lot of talent out here that isn't afraid to express themselves, which is what you need in this industry.
You're very quiet. What would you like to add to all of this? Zach? Nothing? Wow.
Just wait for it.
Okay. Okay. This is radio. You're supposed to talk. No, I'm just messing with you. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. That's what Jim Morrison said. Some people don't know.
Here's my theory from being around wrestling forever.
Sure.
You're going to make it because you have the drive, literally, old school, to get in a car, drive 2.5, 3 hours, and hone your craft and make it in this business. The ladies who could not be bothered to make an 11 o'clock interview this morning are the ones that are going to be a little tougher. That's my theory.
No, I understand completely, but as I said before, the dedication is absolutely there. I mean, while we're even sitting here,
how big is your entire crew?
We have a crew of, I say, 10 right now,
10.
and as
half of them I didn't meet, so
half of them she didn't meet
they're
yet.
not part of it. Obviously,
we have
the one that's sleeping right now is the one I have doubts about.
Actually,
whoever it is.
Actually, to tell you the truth, while we're sitting here right now,
I was about to say we have a practice right now.
We have a practice
that
the other ones are right. We have 4 of the girls.
Okay.
We have 4 of the girls right now in the Bronx training with Brother Greatness in the Bronx right now. And we actually, oh man, you haven't even met them yet.
I got the math.
You got the math.
4 of you are doing promotion. The other 4 are in the Bronx training.
Correct.
It's the other 2 I'm worried about.
Correct.
That's why
Well,
they're going to be part of the dark side.
Oh, okay.
Obviously.
Okay. They keep late hours. They sleep during the day. Gotcha.
I wonder which those 2 are. Well, the 2 that didn't have the goal to make it here or to training today probably won't be on the team much longer. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I have to make some cuts, and I have to be stern about that. But like I said,
That's like tough love.
It is tough love, but I went through 107 applications this time around. 107, yes. And out of the 107, first there were 24, then there were 12, and now there's just 10. Okay, and 4 here and 4 training in the Bronx. I think I'm doing pretty good this time. I really do.
Stray cat.
No.
Okay.
You gotta put some down.
You got to put.
Wow.
Let's not talk about putting cats down, please. That's kind of sensitive.
That's when you get the hate mail.
I lost my kitty 3 weeks ago. That's why.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Of 18 years. That's okay. Wow. 18 years is a long life for a cat, so that's pretty cool.
I once had a TV for 18 years, and I was sitting with the remote, and I'm going like this, and it's not working, and I'm kind of like, what's going on? And I realized it's 18 years, and it's done.
Is that the remote that makes a clicking sound when you press? That was
the old school.
The old school.
Yeah. 18 years.
18
They
years.
don't make them like that anymore.
No. TVs and cars. What?
I said they don't.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Right.
No.
That's right.
Now they make them smarter.
Yeah, mine connects to my phone, so it's smart.
And technology ruins you, kids. That's what I think.
Okay. So since you're new to New York, what do you think of New York?
Oh, it is so much faster here. I mean, the driving, it's crazy how much I get honked at. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Calm down. But that's just the way it is, especially going more towards the city. It gets worse and worse. But I've learned to kind of play chicken if I want to get over. I'm like, I'm going to hit you. You have to make it look like that in order to get over. So, I mean, it's just faster. But
What do you think of the
so much
culture,
fun.
nightlife?
Oh, yes, there's so many things to do here. It's like never a dull moment. I mean, you could go out on a Monday. And
Oh,
there'll be
yeah.
something fun to
New
do.
York's 24/7.
Oh, I love it.
My father was a taxi driver. He picked up Jackie Onassis, Jackie Kennedy. She said if you had the time, energy, and money, you could go out every night of your life and do something different in New York.
But yeah,
Different restaurant, different club, different movie, different show. Yeah.
you definitely have to have money to go out here.
Time, energy, and money.
yeah, exactly.
No doubt. No doubt. So you have to get back to Pennsylvania soon, so we're going to wrap this up in just a few. What else would you like to add, Max?
What else would I like to add? As I said before, I really do believe I have the right formula together to actually make indie wrestling great again. I really do. I want to follow.
Isn't that a Trump saying? Why are we using that? Let's make indie wrestling great again.
It is a Trump saying. Okay,
when was
thank
indie wrestling ever great?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. When wasn't it great? Well, I can name a few organizations now that weren't so great. But all I'm saying is I've got the right formula this time. I've got the right talent. I've got the right marketing team. I've got the right production team. And I still believe in this because God knows I've been in this industry a long time. And I've had some ups and downs. And I've had some major personal things happen in my life as well, too. But I really believe in this team, regardless of how dark or how beautiful they are. Okay, I really do believe in this team, and I really do believe that this time the Phoenix
Wait. Are you implying that they're not beautiful just because they're dark?
I didn't say that. Okay, you don't.
By the way, our
Now I'm setting up
goddesses
wrestling angles.
look amazing. They are spectacularly beautiful today. Just look at them. I mean, I couldn't want anything better for you two to look. You look great.
Wow. That doesn't set up a feud.
That doesn't set up a feud at all. No.
It is what it is. I am so in awe by how you guys look today.
Are those compliments out of fear or resentment?
Now that's setting up. That's setting it up. Okay.
We'll see in the ring.
We'll see in the ring. Well, I'll tell you what right now, okay? When you guys are ready, we will have a GOD versus Team Turbo.
Wow.
Okay, for sure. And that's going
to
be
see that.
I would
on internet pay-per-view.
well, remember one thing now, okay? We are not charging for our shows. These are going to be free shows. We are not charging any tickets at all whatsoever.
Wow.
Like I said, we're not about ticket sales. We're not about getting the workers to go out and sell tickets.
You're building a brand.
We're building a brand, and I've got the right brand here right in front of me right now, and we are going to be completely unstoppable. You hear that, Vince? All right? Your WWE is dropping down. Your ratings are going down. Your storylines suck. Yes, I said that. All right? You're taking all your top stars and making them mid-carders. I don't like what you're doing with Finn Balor. I can't believe you put Roman Reigns into a championship.
in the Pharaohs show.
Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely, okay? And I'm telling you right now, this is what people are going to be tuning into. I've got the hottest team, I've got the most talented guys, and I've got the Phoenix Wrestling Federation, and I've got everybody who's believing in it as well, too, okay? And I want to thank you, Evan, for having me out there. You know how much I love you.
Same here.
Okay.
I know Max a long time.
Yes.
And if everybody wants to give out any social media, whatever you want to plug, feel
Yes,
free.
yes. Up real quick. I'm going to plug it real quick. Follow me, people, on Instagram at PWF Pro. PWF Pro. That's PWF Pro on Instagram.
And mine for Magenta at the moment is at Coco Suzette
and at COCOSUZETTE.
You're too young to remember this, but there's a famous character, Magenta, Rocky Horror. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
kidding me?
Oh, you're not
I
too young.
love that.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
This is Gemma Stone, and you can follow me at BestBest03.
BestBest03.
This is Zara. If you look up someone with the name DiTolvo, that's DITOLVO, otherwise known as Ring Mistress DiTolvo, you'll find what you need.
Try and find me.
Wow. Okay. I'm sure plenty will.
Plenty will, absolutely. And like I said, stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to have the announcements. Oh, and we've got a beautiful VIP party coming up in the city on September 21st. So follow me on Facebook, Max Vitelli. I'll be posting the VIP party for the 21st. I'm sending you an invite, Evan. I hope you come. Okay?
I will try.
And guys, keep your eyes on the skies for October 28th, where we're going to have former NXT star Zeta Zhang coming in. I'm so excited that she's going to be part of our crew. And I've got Evelise Velez, Miss Former Tough Enough, as well, too.
Yeah, she's awesome.
It's going to be awesome. So that's only like the tip of the iceberg I'm giving you guys. I'm just waiting to give you some more. I always leave you wanting more. It's exactly what my wife did to me.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Anyway, this is the Evan Ginzburg Show. We want to thank our sponsor, SWF Wrestling. Speaking of independent wrestling.
Rob Fury?
Rob Fury.
Rob Fury!
That's it.
You dare put that guy's name in the same category as mine.
You put it. I didn't mention
I
his
didn't
name.
put anything. The SWF. How could you compare SWF to the might and fire of the Phoenix Wrestling Federation? That guy's living off a freaking mark. Are you kidding me?
Wow. But he's our sponsor, SWF Wrestling.
Sorry, Rob.
There you go. And I was at this show last night, and Tony Atlas, who got on the mic and said he's 74 years old, wrestled our boy, Sir Christopher Michaels, and it was great. Old school.
Good
Old
Lord.
School. Yeah. Tony Atlas.
Tony Atlas.
Anyway, thank you so much for appearing on the show, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I hope you're the next glow for the new millennium, and I hope it all works out. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Uh-oh. Wow. She does have a dark side.
I see
Don't be
that.
a diva.
With poet John Winnell.
Wasn't feeling a breakdown. I'm sleeping with hope, but dreaming a letdown. And you wanted to leave when it all starts to seem like your hope. Hope is all just words you speak. Words you speak, so you're not alone. And I'm trying so hard. I'm trying to breathe on my own. Feel what it's like to be me without anyone. Leaving you only brings me pain. I played my role, I've shut my eyes to feel like a part of you. You keep me close just to keep me
All right, we are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show. We have gone from some very eclectic music to pro wrestling, and now we're going to talk arts. And at the end of the show, we're going to have a poetry set from John Winnell. And John and I don't know if the word is blessed, but we saw Carousel on Broadway, and I've seen endless musicals over 40-something years of going to the theater, and that's as great as anything.
Well,
except for maybe West Side Story. How great was Carousel?
It was pretty spectacular. I mean, that music, those songs are very, very famous for a reason. And I think it's
Rodgers and Hammerstein.
As great as Richard Rodgers is, I think that's probably the best thing that I've ever heard him, because the whole piece, it was like German operetta. It was really pretty extraordinary.
And they said that was their greatest work, that it was better than Sound of Music, better than South Pacific. Yeah, they felt it was a superior work.
Yeah, I agree with. I mean, some of the lyrics are just so sublime and clever. I mean, what did I say to one of the actresses, the one that actually got the Tony, because I looked it up. I said to her, boy, they sure don't write things like that anymore, and she smiled and couldn't agree with me more.
The only thing I ever saw that was comparable, West Side Story. I thought Sunday in the Park with George was tremendous. Different. But there's very few things that compare to Carousel.
Well, Sondheim, who wrote Sunday in the Park with George, was a student of Oscar Hammerstein's.
Wow.
So they were, and the linchpin between those two, Sondheim, when they were writing West Side Story, Sondheim was called on board to write the lyrics. So Hammerstein said to him, it would be a good opportunity. They referred to him as the kid. He was only in his 20s, and they basically changed everything around. I mean, I've gone to a lot of forums. Right after Leonard Bernstein died, they had it was a whole panel of Lincoln. I don't know if they do that anymore, but Stephen Sondheim was there. Arthur Lawrence was there. Well, Jerome Robbins was dead by then, and I think Comden and Green were also on the panel. It was pretty extraordinary. Comden and Green, who'd worked with Leonard Bernstein in On the Town, said they asked him directly what they thought of West Side Story, and they actually said that they were jealous. The West Side Story was so, that just broke the mold. That was 59. So that's Carousel was earlier.
My parents saw all the classic plays in the 1950s. They got married in the 50s, and they were avid theater goers. The golden age. They always said to me, quote, West Side Story was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And they said Carousel was one of the greatest. And they said the greatest performance they ever saw was Sammy Davis Jr. in Golden Boy.
Yeah, Odette's. That was known. I think that's filmed. I think Golden Boy is on film.
Wow.
Odette's the only drawback of Odette's that he came across when he sat for the committee, the House Un-Americans Activity, with those SOBs. He actually gave names. Him and Bud Schulberg, who wrote On the Waterfront, they actually turned names in. People did time.
They said seeing Brando on Broadway was unbelievable.
Hammond did a year, and Trumbo did time, for that. But it was a different time. The 50s, that's the golden age. Why they say it the golden? Because there were stories. In the 30s and the 40s, they were really songs, and they weren't necessarily stories. The first real story book that had music to it was Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma, which really broke the mold, and that was the late 40s.
Oklahoma was a little dark also. And,
it comes from a writing, Lynn, he was part Cherokee. Green Grows the Lilacs, they bought that outright. They bought them all. They bought South Pacific. I'm not sure. I don't remember who wrote Carousel, what that was adapted from. That's one that I haven't researched enough.
They said there was an earlier movie from 1934 that was a drama. I forget the name.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's, I mean, it's not dated. It's Americana, but it's not dated. Because it's dark too. I mean, you're dealing with death and
murder.
Murder. Well, really, Selfie takes his own life, but another guy, gets shot. That's true.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean,
people have seen it.
People don't
Yeah.
know it's 60 years.
Yeah.
60.
If they haven't
years
seen
old.
it in 60 years, they should have.
But unfortunately, life is a struggle, and probably the greatest things that we remember have something to do with death. I mean, it's just part of the life cycle, for better or worse. That's just how it is. West Side Story is really an uptake
Romeo
on
and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet. I mean, if you follow that, I mean, it's loosely adapted, but it's still close enough. And there are at least 3 people that are killed in that. So,
Yeah,
but
at least
Juliet
3.
survives.
Wow. So, what else have you seen lately?
I saw a tremendous movie the other day, which was co-written and directed by Ethan Hawke. It's called Blaze, about a musician called Blaze Foley, who was a Texas country, kind of folk country, I guess, who was friends with Townes Van Zandt. Just a great story. It was adapted from his wife's memoir, Sybil Rosen. And Sybil Rosen actually has a small part in the film. I think it's just playing right now in just a couple of theaters in town, but it surprised me. It just knocked me right out. Performances are great, the music is great, and I mean, I never heard of this guy Blaze Foley, but I heard of Townes Van Zandt.
I saw Ethan Hawke being interviewed, and he said his motivation was the fact that it wasn't your typical rags to riches. The guy never quite made it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too. Willie Nelson recorded one of his songs. I forget the title. It's really a really well done movie. It's not hammy. It's not hokey. It holds your attention. They're great stories, great characters, and there's great music. Trying to think what else.
I saw a film called Paradox with Tony Jaa, who's a great martial artist and excellent. If you like action movies, it's reminiscent of The Raid.
The Raid.
One of the best action movies I've seen in
That was
years.
Filipino, right?
Yeah. Well, this was shot in Thailand.
Oh, all right.
And tremendous
They're close.
action sequences. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a handful of you don't necessarily have to see the Hollywood films, which I find unless they're really good, they're always so disappointing. They're too loud, too many bangs and booms and explosions.
Yeah.
I guess to keep all the kids focused.
Every once in a while, I'll turn on a superhero movie, and like 10 minutes later, I turn it off. I'm just like, I got a headache already. I'm tired of stuff blowing up.
Yeah, they settled. They crimped on the substance and too much. Action. Not that there's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a great action movie, and I still want to see the new Mission Impossible. Although my favorite one was called The Ghost Detail, which actually was directed by Brad Bird, who did The Incredibles. So he's used to doing these great comic things, and maybe that's why that one was so good. It had real humor, didn't necessarily take itself as seriously as they should. I mean, after all, they are, it is kind of a comic book. Even James Bond movies, those the ones that worked, they have a sense of humor. You know that this guy is
the simple fact that James Bond is going through a burning building with everything exploding, bullets whizzing by his head, his hair's not messed up. It is kind of over the top.
Well, they're thinking of making a new one with Idris Elba, who's great. I think he'd be a perfect.
The Wire, he was the star of The Wire, which was like the greatest show ever made.
Certainly
one of them.
Certainly one of them. Yeah, he's making not that they need our endorsement. Isn't he behind The Deuce? Is that David Simon?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Deuce is
Yeah.
great.
Starting again tonight. Not that they need my endorsement, but that's a great show.
Yeah, the Deuce is awesome.
Yeah, I saw Maggie Gyllenhaal at one of these, just riding her bike locally through Astoria, Queens, in this place in Astoria. She looked all disheveled and.
Speaking of Astoria, I want to recommend the Museum of the Moving Image, which you love also. We're both
that's where
members.
I saw Maggie Gyllenhaal.
And that's where I saw Paradox. Yeah.
Oh,
tremendous Museum of the Moving Image.
It's a great. They have stuff for kids. They have an ongoing Jim Henson show where they have actual puppets, and you could fool around and learn how to make kind of Muppets that they're doing. It's a great place in one of the few places really great places in Queens that are worth for families and for adults you can check out.
And also check out MoMA Film, Museum of Modern Art.
They certainly don't need. They've been around.
But you want to know
forever,
something that's interesting? I'll talk to people who love movies, and they have no idea that with a 1-year membership, they have unlimited movies at both of these museums.
Well, the Museum of Modern Art probably has, maybe outside of Culver City in California, probably the greatest film library in America. It's stored upstate in a air regulated.
But I know
place.
lifelong New Yorkers who have no idea that this exists, that for whatever it is, $100 a year, they could see unlimited movies. It's one of the greatest bargains anywhere.
Well, even if you don't necessarily have to see the paintings, but which are great too.
I mean, obviously, yeah. But I'm just saying, just for the film alone, it's worth it.
Well, they have because and then occasionally they get donations. Yeah, I think I saw Clint Eastwood talk there. It was great. He introduced, I think it was, what was that movie? It was his first movie. Maybe it was Play Misty for Me. I think that was his first movie as a director, which scared the heck out of me. It's a scary movie. That's as scary as anything that Stephen King ever wrote. Play Misty for Me.
And I'd like to recommend Jim Carrey in Kidding on Showtime.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Very good, very good. Which also has a dark edge to it.
Oh?
He's kind of like a Mr. Rogers type character, except his kid got killed like a year before, and he's about to explode. And it's
an interesting dilemma. I mean, I haven't seen it or heard anything.
They've only had one
it.
episode. The second, I believe, is tonight.
The one that I loved was Sacha Baron Cohen's.
Oh yeah, Who is America?
The one great line that I took from that, and I laughed, is very, very funny, because he takes on everybody and makes them all look stupid. There's a line where he's interviewing somebody, and they're talking about the Antifa movement, and not only in America, anti-fascist movement, and this guy is kind of a gun nut, and he's talking about how he's, which that's the whole thing about trying to put people into categories. And the character that Sacha Baron Cohen said, how about in 1930s in Germany, would you take sides against the fascists? And the guy said, oh no, he doesn't believe in taking sides. And Sacha Baron Cohen's character said, no, of course, why would you want to take sides against fascism in 1930s? Because after all, Hitler, and for me, that was the greatest line in the whole however many episodes that they
I
made.
think that series is going to stand in the annals of comedy as one of the greatest shows ever produced. Because I mean, some of it is he's interviewing OJ. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
That was a great scene. That's how it ended. I guess he can't do any more of those because everybody knows who he is.
Unless he comes back in a few years with different characters.
Yeah, that's what he seems to have done. Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen, Who is America on Showtime. You must see. That's must see.
Pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. And anything you'd like to plug, because we're going to have a live poetry set in just a few.
Well, just trying to, as I keep getting tapped on the shoulder by friends and people that I've just met to get my next book out, and I'm trying to find me an agent. But maybe when I come back, I'm going to Europe in a couple of weeks, and I'll be there for a few weeks. So maybe I'll be doing some thinking along the ways and trying to arrange things. Maybe I'll even see if I can scope somebody out over there who would be fun to have something published in Europe. But that's about. And then, of course, my book, Poems for Everyday People. You can contact me, JONWINELL at yahoo.com, or Facebook if you're interested, if you like what you hear. If not, you could send me shout outs or hate mail or anything else. I'll take it all.
All right. And I just want to plug the SWF show next Saturday night, September 15, 7 p.m. at Barnegat, BARNEGAT, American Legion, and that's 499 North Main Street, Barnegat, New Jersey. And I had a blast last night at the SWF, and we thank them, and we thank Sir Christopher Michaels for his sponsorship. So without further ado, we're going to have a live poetry set. Why don't we just take a brief time out, Jim, before we go to this, because I want to, there's some background noise. Okay. I don't want them to drown you out. I'm going to close.
Another shot to make it strong, sober not to shake it off. Another night to make it on. Feels so exciting. A hot kiss could start a fire. Whatever it is can make you high. And I'll mess when it's inside. It's so inviting. Over and over, I want you again. I want to be closer. Denial caught between the lines. Denial caught me by surprise. Another night could change it all.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks Jim. Thanks Evan. And everybody else. And without further ado, Awakening. Crisp air crackles at the window. Some time before warm yellow rays streak through its slats. Evening collapses in pools of darkness as a voided arc in unbound skies. I rise through layers as a gill-clipped creature seeking dry air. Here there is no rain. An arid wind pulls sand and refuse through alleys where late-night dogs copulate and friendly girls blow kisses at shadows. I can smell your presence in the room. Familiar creams and perfumes fulminate as lucid thoughts from a lit candle. We watch shadows dance on the ceiling. Car lights roll quiet past streets where butterflies return from summer journeys. This is the old myth of the Sphinx, asking the Sphinx 3 questions, and of course, if you don't answer correctly, your demise. Encountering the Sphinx. From where do I go? A man without a country, lost rabble alone, seeking shelter from the rain. There is thunder on the horizon, and the crows have stopped calling. Where are you, the one I seek in the unfurled hours of dreams, warm in a velvet sarcophagus, waiting for time to arise? Here in the middle of emptiness, sand and heat strewn for miles, I bend to answer your elegant questions, no longer weary of the consequences. Collapsed weather. There's water everywhere. The dripping tap, chest heavy with fluid, difficult to breathe, air in and outside the apartment, just waiting for an explosion to fill the streets and chase away stars. To sink within a pool of liquid, dreaming blue, body floating in amniotic pre-birth, silent, unable to speak, hearing corrupted by echoes, wings flapping outside darkened windows. Don't let in the rain. Shadows race across the ceiling with no visible conclusion. I hear voices and music rising through ripples colliding with breath. I can hear the distant barks of dogs sniffing lonely streets after the last drops of fallen rain. I too greet the sky with wonder as cool breezes toss back naked leaves. What time allows? Like a vortex opening, sky's temple allows for expansion as light beamed across the plains. Time is measured by color and refracted destinies, paths traveled and crossed. We blend our bodies like samurai and courtesans coupling, bellies engorged with blood. How far do our stories collide? Each city encounters with dark and light. We absorb knowledge like sweat oozing in and out of pores. Clock hands tickle seconds and hours, coursing as cloudbursts rattling oceans. Leviathans rise through water's layers to breach the surface, bringing notions that stir the salt of breath. As leaves return their pungency to the soil, we reflect upon the rising sun. All before the rain. There's an unnatural silence beneath the trees in the park. No trilling birds, playing children, or echoes of notes. Skies heavy with seed await a toss from an electric hammer, a flash of light and crumble to release its torments. I listen to the flapping of wings, roll of rubber on asphalt, and your words, diaphanous, sultry, an uncertain river of tainted mystery, the tastes of loss, time and money. Your eyelids gold, painted as if in Pharaoh's court. There is no Nile in New York, only Hudson and rivers east, which separate the island and hides its crocodiles and treasures. You falter, slowly contemplate the gravity of falling objects, leaves, apples, the smell of water, as streets flood, causing insects and rats to seek shelter and meaning out of a lingering silence. Alone in the wilderness. Fragile steps, soothing chemistry of wood and loneliness. A man passes unnoticed into the quiet of daybreak. Light pressing down upon a curved shape, escaping from one circumstance to another. A dog passes shadows on its journey to the river. Another in a day of storms, seeping over the horizon, deep gray molded over blue, setting the stage for wet weather and an excuse to keep moving. Her scent is a hurricane of honey. Shortly before, a swarm of bees, the intoxications followed by a dangerous tide, each swivel of hips to be avoided, lest be pulled to the sea and drown. So the day folds its creases and blurs shapes with darkness. a forever twilight lifted only in early morning hours when light delivers day upon our shoulders before passing into a crevice of sky. And I just want to end with this one. This is based on a true story of a teenager that I knew who was killed. And it's called The Walk to the River. If you asked me to walk with you to the river, I wouldn't frown, but grab my coat and hat and laugh, smelling the cool mist while clouds keep the stinging rays of light from turning skin the color of fire. You never asked me, toiling about a hot August night, coveting a 9mm, the scent of death upon your fingers, under a green stairwell light as armed officers with pistols raged, burn the ground with your confused blood. The river is silent, as no one walks this or any other evening, now that winter is upon us. Thank you.
John Linnell. And I am hoping that your next poem is about you running away with a woman wrestler. I think that would be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? I would enjoy that.
And
Both
just
the poem and the running away part.
you could run to Europe with a woman wrestler. That would be a beautiful thing. Anyway, I just want to thank Bill and Shy Perry, who did the show recently. Bill Howlin' Mad Perry is a Hall of Famer, and he graced our studio a couple months back,
like
right,
that.
Jim? And we're going to try to find a place of honor for this. And Shy Perry, his daughter, they toured together, and Shy Perry has a new CD out, and we always urge you to support independent music, independent wrestling.
And I have to say that they are the best sports I have ever met in the business.
I've been doing radio since 1991, and it was one of the craziest days. We had a 3.5-hour tech delay, and they had a 20 or so hour ride ahead of them back to Mississippi, and they waited. They waited, and they were nice about it.
Nice people.
They couldn't be any.
I think they actually only stayed locally to do this show. They could have got on the road that morning, but instead they stayed to do the show. They could have been well on their way.
Right. They had 2 gigs planned that weekend. One fell through, and they had the show Sunday. And we had serious tech issues, but when the smoke cleared, it was great. So we urge you to support. Not only are they great people, it's great music. Shy Perry, new CD out. And Bill Howlin' Mad Perry, a Blues Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And they're the real deal. I mean, tremendous artist, and we're honored to have all kinds of independent artists of all genres in studio, everything from hip-hop to blues and everything in between. So, and I have a page on Facebook, Evan Ginzburg Support Independent Music, so check that out as well. Evan, E-V-A-N, Ginzburg, G-I-N-Z-B-U-R-G.
One more shout out. I didn't think of good old Giacometti, the great Swiss sculptor. Show's ending Tuesday, I think, at the Guggenheim. It's a cross-pollination between New York and the Giacometti Foundation in Paris. There are things that haven't been on loan before, so
we went today from music to pro wrestling to Broadway to poetry to sculpting. So not often you have lady wrestlers and a poet on the same show. So this is
should have it more often.
That's right. That's right. You guys should tour together. That would work. Anyway, we have to connect. Max Vitelli with Monty and the Pharaoh. Thursdays 8:05 at villageconnectionradio.com. Our wrestling show. And Jim, anything you want to plug? We got some new shows coming.
Yeah, we have tons of new shows, bro. I can't even believe it.
What's coming next Sunday?
Next week is Verdell Jones is doing a show with her husband.
And what's the theme?
I know it's a talk show. They're doing it together, husband and wife. I think it's going to be a great show. You know, you've had shows before on other stations. I know they were at Madhouse for a while.
The first show, the theme will be "Marriage is the Death of Hope."
That's
when you
it.
see four beautiful lady wrestlers. I'm joking. Anyway, anything else you want to plug before we wrap it up, Jim?
Nope, that's it.
All
Let's
right.
be good.
As always, we thank Jim Savali for this forum, villageconnectionradio.com, which kind of a family. I walk in here and the previous shows all hug and kiss you as you come in.
It's great. And they have food waiting for you.
Yes, food.
It's
That's
great.
right. That's right. And that'll about do it, folks. We want to thank all of our guests today, and join us each and every Sunday, 11 a.m. It's always an eclectic mix. No two shows are ever quite the same. Always. And for those of you who never saw the show before, I just want to say this. I was inspired by Joe Franklin. Joe Franklin would have like Betty Davis sitting next to pro wrestling legend Lou Albano and somehow make it work. And that's kind of what we do. And I know Jim wants to get back to his kids, so we're going to wrap it up. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you.